Hi there, guten Tag. It's so cold in Deutschland. I think we're just around 1 degree or 3 degrees, I'm not sure. And I'm already wearing 3 layers of clothes. But still so fucking cold. Gosh. Anyway, so while heading home, I like to talk to you in general. Just some companion and all that, listening to my rumblings and listening to my stories, whatever I have in my head. And yeah, I know that these videos have been really long or getting longer. It's just because it's different when you go outside and talk about things, because my mind is really just out of I don't know, talking outside makes my mind expand than just recording in a room. So I don't know if you understand that, but yeah. So in the previous video, I was talking about, like what makes me smile, and, like the difference between, like my beliefs system. So I don't know if you understand my rumblings, or I don't know. So, but yeah, today I like to share with you about how is it like to be enlightened, and how can you enlighten yourself in the dark. First thing, like I've shared in the previous video, I shared like how can you think about life when you're too busy chasing life, the kind of life you thought is for you but it's not. You will know that life is not for you because you're not happy. You know that person is not for you because you're not happy with that person. And no matter how much you try to convince yourself this person is the Mr. Right or the one, the moment you come into presence with this person, it makes you feel sick. And it sucks for some people because it's like they're tied to this, like some like marriage, or you're tied in a relation, or you're tied in some responsibility on obligations, and makes it hard for you to get out of that. So it's the same. It reminds me of Clay and Liz, the characters of my upcoming book Strokes of Desire #1. They're kind of like, they're in love. They're so in love. The thing is, it's been 12 years. And all those years, they felt like obliged to love each other. When in fact, that within those 12 years, over the years, they kind of have separation. There's some kind of separation happening in between, but they kind of ignored it because they're tied to responsibility and expectations that they will get married because they're big names, and they like Liz's family is a celebrity family, and even Clay is like a celebrity doctor or so. And just because they're tied to these big names and they belong to these big families, it's not easy for them to just decide on their own. It's not easy for them to just decide, okay, this is what I want in life and I have to quit this. No. And even if you're not really from big family or so, the fact that you're in that position, okay, the fact that you're there in the place where you are now, you feel like you're trapped. Although you really love this person, you really love the people around you, but it just doesn't feel right anymore. Because, like, the thing is, the more you force it, the more you force life, the more you hurt the other person. The more you force something, the more you hurt more and more people. But what if you just let them be? Just observe. What if you could just like accept the reality that it's not the same way again? It's not the same way anymore. And let's say, like, if Clay and Liz were real people, which I assume they are, because they came from my head, okay? They're characters of my book. So I don't know if their lives could struck someone's life, I don't know. But the fact that they're tied to these obligations and responsibilities and expectations, this became like an attached role, like as an attachment to love, which is normal. Not really. Like, you should love the person, and when you love the person, you don't hurt the person. But because you have expectations around it, that means it becomes egoic. It's so easy to transform that love into egoic love. And what does it mean to have egoic love? This is where, like, trophy wives coming in. This is where, like, narcissistic relationships coming in, toxic relationships coming in, because you're concerned about your ego, and your ego says, well, I can't just do that because what will happen to me? You fear, because your ego tries to save you from fear, tries to save you from harm, tries to save you from the uncomfortable sensations that you try to avoid all your life. Ego is doing that in exchange of your heart and soul's cry. And that's what happened to Clay. Okay, that's what happened to Clay. And it's just so unconscious that now he's in a place where what the like Liz just broke up with him and all that, and he didn't understand why. And it's like a surprise element for him. It's not really surprising because it's gradual. Each day you're hurting the person. Each day, you didn't talk. You're hurting the person. It becomes like a compilation. It's like an album. You have one page to the other. And one page has two sides. Foresighted, Rooksighted, right? You have the front page, back page. And just because, like, you have this album of resentment, it's hard to just move on with each day with that person you thought you love when all the resentments are already there. And that's what happened to Clay and Liz, because they love each other. They have their perfect love story, king and queen, fairy tale and all that. But because of the expectations around them, being pushed to do this, being pushed to do that, it became egoic. And they fell, both of them fall into the trap of risking something, trying to cheat, trying to find some emotional satisfaction from other person instead of finding it within themselves. But if I would have written the character like that, then there wouldn't be a book. You know what I'm saying? So, and because, like I said in my previous video, it's like previous video, it's like my anger within myself, all the negative stuff that's around me. Anyway, so loud. So, yeah, so just as I was saying, it's like part of turning that negative stuff that's been the anger and all that, I was able to transform them on the page, and they will remain on the page. So I don't have to bring them back to life in my life and bring all these problems to my real life. No, because in my real life I want to heal, and to heal is to reveal. And what does that mean to me? As a Scorpio moon, yeah, like I said, to heal is to reveal. The more I reveal about myself, the more I will heal. Because Scorpio moons are so secretive to the point, like, yeah, it took me hard time to really just talk to you like this and share everything that I have in mind. As simple as this. Because Scorpio moons, especially me, I have Scorpio stellium. So I have lots of Scorpio in me. It's really hard for me to just share It's hard for me to just tell someone all my problems in the world. It's not easy for me to just open up. But I'm trying. I'm trying to improve my communication. Like it's not like it's different from developing some business communication skills because it's just business. But if you improve your personal communication skills, it's different because it hits differently. It hits to the heart. It hits straight to the heart, to the soul. How can you speak without even screaming at the other person? Without pointing fingers at that person? You know what I mean? And that's what happened to Liz and Clay. So now the point is, what can you do with it? What can you do with your life if that's the kind of life you have right now? What can you do with it? Just watch. I know it's so counterproductive. Like, what? You just watch? Because that's the first moment you realize it, that there's a problem. You don't have to immediately solve it because you don't have all the answers how to get out of it. You don't have all the answers how to move forward with this difficult life that you are having. So all you can do is observe, watch, and see how it goes. See what events. Accept the events as they are. Accept the events as they come. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to solve anything. All you can do is acknowledge, welcome it. And then later on, if you're ready, like really ready, not really like, okay, I feel like I'm ready. No. If you are ready, then it's time to, okay, find someone who could mentor you, who could tell you some professional advice, or it's time for you to do something. Like right now. Like, despite all the things that is going around me, all I can do is watch. Because what's the use of trying to force something? What's the use of trying to force something when it's so obvious to me that it's so uncontrollable? This is beyond my powers. Controlling someone, that's beyond my powers. That's outside me. All I can do is control myself, fix myself, do something for myself to make me happy, and observe and watch and see how it goes. So, I mean, like, you don't have to do everything and anything to solve a problem immediately until you are ready. And you know when you are ready because you don't have that emotional charged thoughts. You don't have the emotionally charged decisions. And you want to avoid that, okay? You don't want to decide when your ego is so active. And you know that your ego is so active because you just want the person to suffer. Like your ex-boyfriend, I want him to see you suffer. Or your whoever, ex-boss or whatever. So this is still egoic. So wait until it simmers. You wait until you could say, yeah, that happened. And now it's the right time for me to decide. It's the right time for me to say something. So that's what you can do. Okay? So, like, that's how I kind of live my life. That's how I'm able to live my life right now. Like, I feel okay. I feel like despite everything, it's like I don't have much money. I don't have a job. I don't have car. We have a car, but I can't drive, and we can't afford to go vacation. And to tell you, within 10 years in marriage, we never have vacation. And just that, if I try to do something about it, then I will be pushing myself to work or stress myself for something that I cannot control. So what are the things that you cannot control? Circumstances, life, your other person, your spouse, your children, your parents, others. So what can you control? Yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, whatever you say, everything that creates ripple effects. So everything that creates ripple effects is like your tangible action, something that people see and feel and hear in their senses. So that means like your words, when you say something, or I don't know, like whatever you say to attack the person, feeling like I win this conversation. You feel like winning this argument, which is not the very thing you want in the first place. For example, in a relationship, you don't want to prove yourself right or wrong. You want to keep the relationship. You want to save the relationship. You want to, like same with relationship with yourself. You don't want to create some divide in yourself. You like your artistic side is different from your business side, or that's what I did before. Like I ignore the artist in me, thinking that I'm this entrepreneur person. And that's not the right thing. I mean, it should be integrated. Same thing with your shadow. You can't ignore your shadow just because you don't like it. That's part of you. Your shadow is part of you. Your lightness is part of you. Your failures are part of you. Your bliss and success is part of you. So everything is you. So what's then the use of trying to force something when you know that it's beyond your control? Let the other person do what he or she wants, even if it's your children, even if it's your husband, even if it's your wife, even if it's your mother, even if it's your brother, sister. You can't control their decisions. They have their own minds, okay? So, yeah, I don't know if you understand anything about what I've been saying today, and I just want to release it all out and vent it out to you because you're my friend. And because you're my friend, you deserve to hear. And I hope that that message resonates with you. And yeah, I really love you so much, and see you in the next one. Cheers.